Hi, it's Martha of Just Martha Designs, and today I just want to kind of fill you in on a lot of things that have been happening. I haven't produced any videos in a couple of weeks, and I do apologize for that. There's been a lot going on. Right now we are currently in testing season, and unless you're a teacher, you probably don't understand what that means, but testing season is just your main goal is you are preparing your students to take those lovely state standardized tests, wanting them to do really well. And so a lot of your time, attention, and energy kind of goes into that. So we started on May 2nd with our first test, and we'll be finishing up over the course of the next week or so. But right now there's just a lot going on. Plus, as a way for me to keep my current job, and to teach what I love teaching, which is my English 1 class, and I do teach an honors English 1 class. In order to keep teaching that class, I had to take and get my initial GT certification. So there are like 3 steps to GT certification, and leading up to the, I think it's like the advanced or something, but anyways, the initial just says that you are qualified and certified to teach an honors course. And that was one of my goals of things that I really wanted to do in my teaching career, and so I had to complete that in order to maintain my job, because South Carolina, which is the state in which I teach in, changed everything, which said that we really had to be certified to teach an honors course, and that meant that initial GT certification. So I was finishing up that last weekend. In fact, my entire weekend was all about completing my project, which was the final exam, if you will, for the class that I was taking. So I had to put all that together, which was a case study, and that involves a lot of research and typing and preparing and putting everything together and getting all the pieces pulled in. So last weekend was all about my homework, and so now I'm hoping to get back to some of my videos. Still kind of not feeling well. I haven't been feeling well for a while. I went to my doctor in March and was waiting on a neurosurgeon appointment because she stated that I had arthritis buildup in my back. So I said, okay, well, I kind of know a lot of back pain that I deal with. Been actually living and dealing with chronic pain for quite some time. And I had often complained about it, and a lot of times when I complained about it, I had doctors who put me on muscle relaxers, pain medication, pain pills, steroids, some steroid shots. I think briefly I went through some therapy at one time. It's been a long time that I've been dealing with this. Nothing really seemed to work. The last medication that they put me on was the naproxen sodium at a level that, you would have to take 2 over-the-counter Aleve to even come close to what that would be. And so the bad thing about taking the naproxen sodium is that it would make me very sick. I have an issue taking aspirin even. It has a tendency to make me sick to my stomach, but I had to stop taking it. Plus the large quantities kind of triggered migraines, and I'm very susceptible to getting a chemical migraine, which means that you're taking a combination of chemicals, mainly medications, and it just kind of triggers the migraine. So that's one of the issues that I have with some pain medications. I'm at that point where even pain medications kind of trigger a migraine, so I can no longer take anything that has like the the hydrocodone, any kind of codeine or things like that. Morphine is a whole other story. It kind of creates a widespread pain and anxiety, and that doesn't work either. So a lot of pain medication is kind of like off the table, and that was something that I kind of suspected that I would end up getting eventually. My mother had the same issue, so it's one of those things where I knew that certain medications reacted differently with me. Same thing with my mother, and eventually she ended up with not being able to take any type of morphine derived pain medication, and I'm the same way. So I'm used to that. I know that's the first thing that I tell them: please do not give me this. Do not try to give me this. I'm much rather deal with pain than to take pain medication. So but in, going back to, going to all these doctors, well, over the past couple of years, I had started to complain because I would honestly say probably in the last 3 to 4 years, maybe 5, started to develop this, what felt like a lump under my skin along my spine. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I complained about it because I noticed that a lot of my pain that I had was kind of like from that little lump on down. And at times it would even swell much larger. Well, I was referred to a neurologist, and he just kind of, and I actually told him, a lot of my symptoms and things, and he just kind of played it off as, oh no, that's not what this is. Did an MRI of my brain to rule out MS, and I know I've talked about, the neurologist saying that I had Cramps Fasciculation and Dystonia, and that, that seemed to be, okay, that's what this is, and I kind of went along with that. I still had the lump. Got to the point that pain was so bad I ended up in the emergency room because I just could not stand the pain anymore. And the doctor, they really didn't put me in the emergency department. They kind of put me in what they call like a fast track, where they say, okay, this is not life-threatening. This is something that's easily just taken care of and out the door. And so they placed me in there. I told them about that because that was what was bothering me. What was normally maybe the size of a quarter, swollen up, it's about the size of a quarter, was to the size of like a little bigger than a golf ball. Not quite like a lemon size, but a little bigger than a golf ball. And me complaining about, I said, it's hurting from here down. Felt it, said, oh, it's a lipoma. It's not life-threatening. No x-ray, no MRI. It's a lipoma. Here we're going to give you a pain medication shot. So after looking and listening to me talk about all of these different pain medications that I can't take, they turn around and gave me a shot of Dilaudid, which kind of made me a little hyper and loopy all at the same time. So I go home, gave me a steroid shot. Steroid's supposed to make it shrink, which it did, and then that's all that I get. Go see your family doctor about this. So I did. Same thing. Oh, well, that's what they think it is. That's what it is. We're not going to worry about it. The emergency department did tell me that if I would probably need an MRI to rule out, was this a lipoma? Well, still, no one is talking MRI. No one is talking about anything. Just, here, take this medication. Okay. So now I was at the point of the pain is so bad. at times. Now when it swells, I can't bear any weight on my legs. So I woke up one morning, it was like very swollen. My back was very inflamed. My feet hit the floor. I hit the floor because my feet just, my legs just kind of crumpled. I could not bear the weight. I went to my doctor. I had already had an appointment scheduled for something else. Went to her. She did an x-ray, told me it's probably arthritis. We're referring you to a neurosurgeon. That was in March. They made my appointment for the neurosurgeon. I was actually supposed to go on April the 27th, I believe. But on my way to the appointment, I checked my voicemail because I'd had my phone off all day. I really don't keep my phone on when I'm at work because I'm teaching. I'm not on my phone. I'm not concerned about anything like that. We had a lot going on because we had a field trip that day, and then we had an awards program. So the first time I get an opportunity to check my phone, I had left work early because I knew I had this appointment. I'm on my way to the neurosurgeon's office, and I checked my voicemail. I'm about halfway there, going through my voicemails I had that day, and there's one that said, "I'm sorry, we're canceling your appointment. You're going to have to call us to reschedule." That was horrible. So they rescheduled it for May 3rd. And so this week I went for my appointment with the neurosurgeon. And it was very interesting. So here comes the brunt of my story. And I was very upset when I left there, to the point I was mad. If I could have punched all the doctors, if I could have strangled them, I probably would have at that point, because I'm sitting there. The first person to see me before the actual doctor was the physician's assistant, and he came in and he sat down and he talked to me about my history of everything that was going on, looked at my x-ray, and he just points out, he said, "This seems to be the problem right here at number 11. I look at it. I'm not an expert. I don't know how to read x-rays. And he said, "Some of this may be you, some of this may not." He examined me. I told him about the lump. Funny how that lump is right there at the point that he pointed at on the x-ray. It's right there at vertebrae number 11. From that point down where he pressed my back, I thought I was going to absolutely just pass out from the pain. It was horrible. So the doctor comes in, and the physician's assistant tells me to have a seat, finish filling out my paperwork. And then the doctor came in and I met him. And he's sitting there listening to the physician's assistant relay a lot of the information that he had. Then I told him about my neurologist visit and everything, and he looked at me and he said, "They placed you on a Parkinson's drug." I said, "Yes." After the EMG, they said that the muscle was noisy. This would calm down a lot of the issues that I was having. And he said, "Did they do an MRI?" I said, "No, they did not do an MRI on my back. They did one on my brain to rule out MS." And he said, "Did it show that you had MS?" I said, "No, it did not." He said, "But they put you on this medication without an MRI of your back." I said, "Yes." So he pulls up the x-ray that they took in the office that day. This is not even the one that they did in my doctor's office. And he points to the same area, vertebrae number 11, and he said, your back is broken at vertebrae number 11. Have you been in any accidents? Well, no. The last accident that I was in was in the classroom, and they didn't x-ray my back. Prior to that, in 2010, I was in a car accident. I was hit from behind. The driver's side seat broke instantly. The driver's side seat broke instantly. I was still sitting upright. I never went backwards with the seat, even though it was laying down in the back seat. The emergency department, they carried me by ambulance. But because I was able to stand up and get out of my car, which honestly, I really didn't think anything about it, because the whole time I was sitting there, I never thought that it was me who was hit. Kind of blacked out. Just remember the sound of the crash, moving forward, and thinking I need to pull my car over on the side of the road and get out and help the person who was injured. Didn't know that it was me. But the seat broke. I mean, when the ambulance got there, I'm still sitting straight up in the seat, unsupported by the back. They took me to the emergency room. They never x-rayed. They didn't even put me on a backboard because I climbed out of my car. Did not x-ray my back. It was in 2010. That was about the time that I started having back issues. They kept saying that it was fibromyalgia. They kept saying that it was related to arthritis. They placed me on that naproxen sodium. And so things have gradually progressed to the point that now, from that vertebrae down, my back is twisted because there's been really no support. My quality of life has kind of gone down because I'm kind of limited to my mobility. Sometimes I may have a good day and sometimes not. Depends on how much I can actually push past the pain and deal with it. So the doctor looks at me and he said, we need an MRI to determine how old the break is and how much damage. But your insurance will not pay for an MRI because they want you to go through therapy first. So you have to go through 6 weeks of therapy. If there's no improvement, then we will order the MRI. Then he looks at me and he said, you may not make it through 6 weeks of therapy. Well, yeah, kind of figure that much. I have a hard time making it through an 8-hour day at work because I now have to have a stool that I have to sit on at work, because if I sit down in a chair, like I'm sitting in a low chair right now, it's hard for me to get back up and get moving again. So I don't sit all the way down, and I don't even sit on my stool at work. I just kind of recline on it because I know that if I ever stop, it's hard to get back going again. So in the afternoon, I have a lot of students that come in to I hold all the car riders, and so I have a lot of students who have seen me in the afternoons when I have, because I'll sit down at my desk and I'm working, and when they come in, and then some of those who are late car riders who haven't been picked up when they call no more cars in the car line, have seen me struggle to get up out of my seat and stand straight up. It's really hard, because by that time of the day I am completely give out. And so I've really worried about that, because I love what I do, and I don't want to limit, you know, my teaching ability because of this issue. So he just said, you know, you're going to start therapy. If you can't do the therapy, he said, you call me, and then we turn around and tell the insurance company, we need the MRI, this isn't working. So I'm waiting now on the call from the rehabilitation center to call me and set up appointments for therapy and go from there. But without the MRI, we really don't know how bad that is. But I'm kind of scared, because when you stop to think about it, okay, so you have to, you know, what do you do? What do you do at this point? Do you turn around and have surgery to straighten all this up? You know, and how does that even work? And how do you go about doing something like that? It's really scary. So I'm very concerned it's not going to be something of, hey, we're going to put a shot in your back, because there's just so much damage that's there right now, and that's not quite a possibility. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But, and just, you know, letting you know that sometimes if there's not a video, it's because trying to sit here and create a card, it's a little bit impossible, because it's painful that day. I'm having a really rough day. But I just kind of wanted, you know, to fill you in there, and that's kind of a follow-up to that Cramps Fasciculation, because from what the neurosurgeon told me, I probably didn't need to be on that medication. Probably a lot of the things that's going on in my legs, and a lot of that is caused by that bone touching the spinal cord. Seems kind of a little unreal, that there's this possibility that everything that I've been told has been a lie. One of the reasons why I was mad. But anyways, look for a video. I am going to do a video this weekend, actually. I had a card that I had created, and I thought I'd share it with you guys, because it's really cute, and two, hopefully, you know, you have the stuff to make it with. If not, you'll have to find something. But it's really cute, and I'm kind of excited about it. It turned out really great, and I'm actually adding a few more things on it as we speak. But I've got to clean up, because you can see behind me I have all this mess, and I'm trying to put away all the stuff that I had out from doing my project for my class, because class is over with, and I finished out with an A. I'm so excited. That was like the best part ever. Really didn't think I was going to make an A. I thought maybe a B, but it was an A. So that's it. have a great day, have a blessed day, and have a great weekend.